Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for viewing this webinar titled Library Resources for Business Graduate Students. My name is Grace Koletsky, and I am one of the librarians at the DuPont Ball Library at Stetson University. Before we get into content today, I just wanted to go ahead and give you some contact information. So my contact information is here at the bottom of the screen. If you have any questions about anything that we discussed today, you're welcome to call me at 386-822-7190 or email me at gkaletsk@stetson.edu. The library also has a reference service that we call Ask a Librarian. Basically, anytime you have a question about research or using the library or finding information, you can call or text the number at the top of the screen, 386-747-9028, or email libref@stetson.edu, and someone will get back to you as soon as they can. So I decided to put the agenda on a PowerPoint here just so that anyone who is viewing this recording after the fact can jump straight to any sections that they might be particularly interested in. So first I'm going to discuss DuPont Ball Library services that may be useful for graduate students. Then I'll move on to talking about using a citation management software tool called RefWorks that is really useful for organizing, saving, and citing sources. Then I will discuss some databases that might be particularly useful for business graduate students. You can see them listed here on the screen. There are 8 that I will talk about today, and just a little note on what kind of information each one has is here on the slide. Next, I will show you how to find out if the library has a specific periodical. So if there's a certain journal or newspaper or magazine that you need, I'll show you how to find that. And then finally, I'll finish up with showing you how to create a works cited page with RefWorks. So the place where you're going to find all of this information is the library website. If you haven't been to it before, the URL is just stetson.edu/library, so pretty easy to remember. But I'm going to go ahead now and share my screen with you so that you can see it too. So hang on just a second while I pull that up. And I think someone has joined us in the live session. So Kathy, if you have any questions, please, feel free to enter it in the chat box, and I'll get to it as soon as I see it. Okay, so here's the library website, and the first thing I want to show you is under services. You will notice there is a link here labeled Library Services for Graduate Students. And this is a page, this is actually a new page that some of the librarians created especially for you guys. So here you can see some particular services that you might find useful. The first one I want to talk about is access from off-campus. And before I go on, I just want to check, Kathy, can you hear me okay? Okay, awesome. Okay, so off-campus access. All of our resources can be accessed from anywhere you are in the world. All you need is your Stetson username and password. So once you find something in one of our databases, you will have to, when you click on it to open it up, it'll ask you to log in, and that's just the same username and password that you would use for My Stetson or your Stetson email or anything like that. Probably the most straightforward way to just go ahead and take care of this off the bat is once you want to start doing research from off campus, go ahead and log into My Stetson. Click on Resources. Instructions are right here. Then click on Library Databases underneath the DuPont Ball Library heading, and then you'll automatically have access without having to log in again and interrupt your research that way. So back to the grad student services page. I'm not going to talk about every single one of these, but the next one I'll point out is interlibrary loan. Interlibrary loan is a service that you can use to get access to content that the DuPont Ball Library does not subscribe to. So if you come across an article or a book chapter or something like that that you need, all you have to do is fill out one of these interlibrary loan forms. You'll have to enter your contact information and then some information about the article that you want and hit submit, and we will get that source for you from another library. And that's something that's completely free to you. Next, I'll move on to the research help side of the screen. The first link here will take you to our research guides, and these are just online tutorials and guides to doing research on specific topics that myself and the other librarians have put together. So as you can see, they're organized by subject. I'll go ahead and click on the one labeled business, and you can see we've got 18 different guides to doing research on business. Some of these are tutorials for using databases. Some of them are really on really specific topics. Some of them are on really general topics like business. So when you find one that you are curious about, you can open it right up and you'll see we have some best bets for business research. On the left-hand side, we've got some more particular pieces of information that you might be interested in. Just going to go back to this grad student services page one more time. I already mentioned briefly the Ask a Librarian service. I just wanted to show you this page because it has our on-call librarian hours. So during the hours listed on this page, that's 70 hours a week as late as 10 o'clock at night on weeknights, and then we have some availability on Friday and Saturdays as well. There's actually a librarian who has carved time out of their day to make helping students who need help our top priority. So anytime you call or text this number or email us at libref@stetson.edu, as long as you ask your question within these hours, you'll get a response very quickly, usually immediately. If not, maybe it'll be just a few minutes. But that's a really easy and quick way to get help. And this number actually goes to an iPhone. So if you are, prefer just to text us, that is totally fine too. Okay, and then last but not least, you can also schedule a research consultation. This link will take you to a form that you can fill out if you want to make an appointment in advance to meet with a librarian. So if you wanted to meet with me or someone else one-on-one to discuss your research project and the needs that you have for information for your project, we are also open to doing that. All you need to do is fill out this form, and we can do that in person or over Skype. So those of you who may not be near to land, we can meet with you over Skype if that's what you prefer. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the library homepage by clicking on Home here in the upper left-hand corner. And the next thing I want to show you is RefWorks. If you hover over Research Help at the top of the page, you'll notice that the second to the last link here is RefWorks. If you click on that, it'll open up a new tab. And this is the software I was talking about earlier that you can use to store, organize, and then ultimately cite all of the information you find from all these different databases or even on the web. So basically, you can use this to create your own database that just has the information that you're interested in. To use this, you will need to create an account, but this is something that is free for you. It's something the library pays for. If you have never used it before, go ahead and click on this white link that says create account, and you'll have to set up your account with your stetson.edu email address before you can start using it. And so then it will send you an email with an activation link, and once you click on that, you'll be ready to get started. But I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. So this is my RefWorks account, and you can see I've got a ton of different resources listed here. These are all sources that I've added from different databases, and I have them all here in one place, and I can organize them using my folders over here on the left-hand side. You won't have anything in here yet. This would all be blank for you if you just set up your account. So I'm going to actually close out of this for now, and we're going to come back to it throughout this webinar. So back to the library homepage, the next thing I'm going to click on is this tab labeled Databases in the middle of the page. We have got subscriptions to over 200 different databases. If you would like to use a certain database that you already know about, you can click on Browse Databases by Title to see a list of all of them in alphabetical order. So you can see there's 237 databases here. You can jump to a specific place in the alphabet, or you can use the filters at the top to search for a particular subject. So this is a business webinar, so I'll go ahead and show you the list of business databases, but just note that some of them may be more particular for your needs. Like, for example, we have a list of accounting databases. We've got a list of marketing databases down here, and the M's and management, and so on and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and click on business. And that will show you a list of 23 library databases that are going to be useful for business-related research. And the first one I will pull up is the first one listed here under Best Bets, which is ABI Inform Complete. ABI Inform is a database that you can use to find a wide variety of content. It has peer-reviewed journal articles. It has news articles, it has company information, it has industry profiles, it's got a wide variety of stuff. I always recommend going straight to the advanced search in a database. You can see at the top here in the upper left-hand corner. I'm on basic search right now, but I want to go to advanced search. And that gives me multiple search boxes here and all these different filters I can use to go ahead and shape the kind of content I'm looking for. So just for example, I'm going to say I'm looking for articles on nonprofit marketing. So I will type the word nonprofit into the first box, and the second box I will type in marketing and hit search. And now I've got a list of over 240,000 sources that are somehow related to nonprofit and marketing. You'll notice on the left-hand side, I have options to narrow my results down. So if you only need a certain type of source, like if you only wanted scholarly journals, all you need to do is click on the link under source type that you want, and that's showing me out of those 240,000, only the 18,000 that are actually scholarly journal articles. You'll also know under publication date, right now it says 1911 to 2017, and that's going to be different depending on the time range of things that came up in your particular search. But I'm guessing most of the time in business, you are not going to be interested in what they were saying in 1911. So we can just drag this bar to, a more appropriate date. So I'll just leave that at 2000 and click on update. And now I've got a list of 14,000 scholarly articles published between 2000 and 2017. I'm not going to show you every single one of these filters, but I will point out a few more that might be useful. This one labeled document type is also useful. Maybe you just want to see a report or you just want to see a case study. You could filter it this way right here. You can limit by subject. You can limit by location. So if you only want to see United States content, you could click that, and that should narrow it down a bit more. So let's say you've added all the filters you want to add and you're happy with what you're seeing in your list of results. go ahead and click on the title of an article that interests you, and you can go ahead and start reading it online or download the PDF to save it. But what I'm going to do is in the upper right-hand corner under Download PDF, you'll see a little floppy disk icon, and it says Save. If I click on that, the first option under Export/Save says RefWorks. So I will click RefWorks, and this little pop-up box comes. I will say Continue. A new tab is open. It's asking me which version of RefWorks I would like to export to. This black and orange RefWorks is old, and it's going to be phased out pretty soon. So what we're working with today is the blue one that says ProQuest RefWorks. So I will click on that blue icon, and here's my RefWorks account again. I'm already logged in. It says Import Complete. That means the source that I just added from ABI Inform is now saved here in my RefWorks account. So I can click on OK to take a look at that. So here it is. And on the right, I can see all the information I'll need when I make my citation. And if I scroll down to this link that says under URL search.proquest.com, later on when I log in again and I want to get back to my article, I can just click on that link and it should take you right back to this page. Okay, back to ABI Inform. I'm going to go to the advanced search option one more time and show you a few other things that ABI Inform might be useful for. I'm going to take out the keywords I typed in earlier. And now I'll scroll down to more search options, and you'll see the first option here is company/organization. So if you are only looking for information on one particular company, you can type the name in here or look it up using this filter. I'm going to search for Red Cross. And I'm actually going to say begins with, because these all contain Red Cross. And I don't know what the official name of Red Cross is, but just as an example, I'll check on these two that just say Red Cross. And add that to my search. And click on search. And now I've got 173 documents that are specifically about the Red Cross. And once again, I can use all these filters on the left. So if I only wanted to see a company profile, I could use document type to just see company profiles for the Red Cross. There we go. I'm going to go back to advanced search one more time. And this time, I'm going to remove Red Cross from this box, and I'm going to go to the next box labeled NAICS code, N-A-I-C-S code. If you don't know what a NAICS code is, that can be a really handy thing to use in business research. The NAICS system is a classification system that organizes industries. So if you are trying to find information in a particular industry, it would behoove you to figure out what the NAICS code is, and that's going to really help you in your searching. If you don't know what the NAICS code is, you can look it up right here inside ABI Inform by clicking on the link labeled Look Up NAICS Codes. And you can either, search for a particular industry using the search box at the top, or you can kind of drill down by finding the more general industry area and just continuing to click on the little plus sign next to the ones that interest you. So we'll just, as an example, go with 72211, which is the NAICS code for full service restaurants. So I can check that box, and I can actually check more if I wanted to, but I will add that to my search. And click on search one more time. And that will take me to all the documents that ABI Inform has that are about the food full service restaurant industry. You can use both the top search boxes and these bottom search options at the same time. It refilled my box here with Red Cross, so I'm going to leave that and type marketing into the top here. So now I'm looking for documents about the Red Cross that somewhere mention marketing. And that gets me 6 articles. So we're not getting a ton of results, but these 6 might be more pertinent to you if your topic is about the Red Cross and marketing than 240,000 documents would be that are generally about nonprofits and marketing. Okay, so that's it for ABI Inform. I will close out of this window now and go back to the database list of business databases on the library website. So I'm not going to talk about all 23 databases today. I picked about 8 of them to show in this webinar. The next one I want to show you is Hoover's company information. This probably looks really familiar to you guys because it has the same interface as ABI Inform because the same vendor, ProQuest, made it, but this one is just searching Hoover's company profiles, which is going to have company information as well as information on executives. Once again, we can use the advanced search to get some more options. I'm just going to do a search here for Microsoft and then click on search just so you can see we've got about 1,500 Hoover's company profiles on Microsoft. And these are all published January 2017. So a good way to narrow down this particular search might be by location, since it looks like a lot of these are about India and Hong Kong and other countries. So if there's just one particular area that you're interested in, you could limit by location. I will just click on one of these and show you one more time how to add something to RefWorks. So I will send this company profile to RefWorks by looking under Download PDF. I'll click on Save. I'll click on RefWorks. And I'll try that again. Okay, there we go. Continue. I want the blue RefWorks. Okay. And there is my Hoover's company profile right next to the article I added from ABI Inform. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you about Hoover's company profiles. Now let's move on to Business Newsbank. Business Newsbank, as you can probably guess, is a database that has all kinds of different news sources, from newspapers to newsletters to magazines to broadcast transcripts and sometimes videos that are all about business. You'll notice that we have some different ways we can narrow down right here. We could narrow by country, state, territory, decade, presidential era, whatever you think is appropriate for your research needs. I'm just going to leave it as it is, and at the top of the page, I will look for Microsoft. You can see that the next box is set to dates. You can change it to something else if you want to. I'm going to leave it on dates, and when I click on the search box next to dates, I have some options. Any date, yesterday or today, past 5 days, past 30 days. You can enter a range if you want to. I'm just going to click on yesterday or today. So out of those 349 publications we saw listed on the last page, among all of those, 35 pieces of news have mentioned Microsoft in the past 2 days. When you want to read the article, once again, you just click on it, and most of the time it'll be right here for you to read online. At the top of the page, you'll see you have options to save this as a PDF or email it to yourself. What I'm going to do is click on Export, and the second option here is Export Citation to RefWorks. So you might know the drill by now. We click on the blue ProQuest RefWorks. You click on OK. And here is a news article that we just added from Business News Bank, right next to the other two that we added from Hoover's and ABI Inform, all in the same place. Okay. The next database I'll show you is Business Source Premier. Business Source Premier is a lot like ABI Inform in terms of scope because it has a wide variety of content types. So once again, it has everything from scholarly journal articles to news articles to company profiles and industry profiles. You'll see at the very top of the page, you could go ahead and browse company profiles right here, where you can download the market line report, or you could search using the search box right here. I'm going to go back to this page, and once again, I'll do a search for nonprofit and marketing. That's giving us a little over 4,000 results. Just like ABI Inform, we have a refined results panel on the left-hand side, so if you need to narrow this down anymore, you could do so again by publication date or type of source or whatever you think is appropriate. And once you click on the title of something to open it up, you can go ahead and download the PDF in the upper left-hand corner. And on the right, under Tools, are our options to save it. Once again, I'll click on Export. That opens a green box labeled Export Manager, and the third bubble from the bottom says Direct Export to RefWorks. So I'll click on that and press Save. Once again, we click on Blue RefWorks. We will click on OK. And now we have all 4 of these articles in the same place. What I'm going to do to stay organized is I'm going to go ahead and organize these into a folder. So I will check the box to the left of each one that I have just added. And at the top of the page, you'll see a little folder icon. And I can add it to a folder that I already have, or I can create a new folder. And I'm just going to call this Business Example. Click on Create Folder. And so now when I only want to see the sources that I've saved for a particular project, I can go over here and click on My Folders and then click on the name of the folder that I'm looking for. Back in Business Source Premier, I just want to go back to the advanced search one more time and point out that you can also search by company or industry in this database as well. I'm scrolling down to the bottom of our advanced search page, and you'll see a box labeled NAICS/industry code. So once again, if you want to look up that code that is going to be particular to a specific industry, you can do that in the same place. Or at the top of the page, you can type in the name of a company or go ahead and enter your NAICS code right here and then click on Select a Field. And if you scroll down, through these options, you'll see CO company entity. That's the one you want to use if you're looking for information on a company. And then IC NAICS code or description, and that's the one you can use if you're looking up a particular industry. Just like that. So I'm going to close out of Business Source Premier and go on to the next database. Next, I'll talk about LexisNexis. LexisNexis has sort of a unique combo of content. It's not useful for finding journal articles, but it can be really useful for finding news, legal information, and company information. And instead of using this search at the top of the page, I'm going to take a look at this little gray one in the bottom right-hand corner that says Get Company Info. So when I click on that, you'll see I can look up a particular company by name or ticker symbol. I'll look for Apple now just to mix it up, and click on Go. Now I've got to choose the right Apple, which I believe it's the first one. And that will take me to this nice little snapshot of my company. So right here in the middle of the page, we've got some basic contact information, number of employees, some stock quotes and charts, description of the business. Right here, we can get the primary NAICS code. So if you wanted to find more information about this industry, you could go ahead and just copy this code and paste that into ABI Inform or Business Source Premier. We've got information on top executives, board of directors. And then over here on the left, we've got even more information. So if you want to jump to current news about this company, got to wait a minute for it to load, and then we've got some recent news articles about Apple. And we've got other things here like executives, company hierarchy, brands, competitors, financial, legal, and intellectual property information. So these are all links that you can follow if you want to see, specific information in those categories. Now, LexisNexis unfortunately does not export to RefWorks except for news. So if you find a news article in here you want to save, you can easily do that. You could also download this whole company profile as a PDF using this link at the top and save the PDF to RefWorks yourself. So that's it for LexisNexis. The next one I'll show you is Mergent First Research. So scrolling down to the M's now, I'll open up Mergent First Research. This database is exclusively useful for industry profiles and geographic profiles. Once you click on Mergent First Research, the link here on the library website to open it up, it makes you click continue like 3 times, which is a little confusing, but just keep clicking the button and eventually it'll let you into the database. So here we are. You can see at the top of the page there's this blue ribbon that shows you all the different collections of information that are available in Mergent First Research, and the default is the industries. So we could go in here and search by keyword or industry code. So if you have your NAICS code on hand, you could paste it there. Or we can browse industry profiles right here under the search box, which I will do now. And here we can browse alphabetically, or we can browse by subject. So I'm just going to click on finance and insurance here, and that will give me a list of subcategories. And I'm going to choose one randomly from this list. How about accounting services? So here is our nice little profile on the accounting services industry. So it starts us out with an overview. We've got some news and a social guess this is an RSS feed of social media, top tweets, quarterly industry update, industry drivers, industry forecast. And then if we look on the left-hand side of the page here, we can jump to a specific piece of information that we're interested in. So if you want to see critical issues facing the accounting service industry, business challenges, businesses trends, industry opportunities, anything like that, you can click on that link on the left to jump straight to it. Websites and acronyms over here on the left might also be really useful if you want to know what are the best places on the web to get information about this industry. So back to the top of the page here, I'm going to click on North America regional info. And now we can select any state or Canadian province. I will just say Florida. And now we can see a big picture of job and industry information here in Florida. So the big picture, we've got information about unemployment, job growth, tax revenue. On the left here, we can see some employment data. We can jump straight to specific related industries or whatever it is that we need. If it's international information that you're looking for, you'll want to use this tab in the upper right-hand corner on that blue ribbon. And once again, you can search for a specific profile here, or you can drill down to a particular country. So I'll just, choose a country at random, just so we can get a glimpse of the profile. Okay, that's it for Emergent First Research. The next one I'll show you is Emergent Intellect. Emergent Intellect is going to be useful for finding company information. So in the search box right here, I'll just search for Stetson University. And that'll take me to a nice little profile of Stetson University. Emergent Intellect it seems to have a broader range of companies that it includes compared to LexisNexis. It has both profiles for both public and private companies, and I've even found profiles for really small local companies in here. So no matter what you're looking for, it's worth a shot to see if there's a profile for your company here in Emergent Intellect. So here's our overview. Once again, we have options at the top of the page to jump straight to a particular category of information. So if you wanted to see financial details or surrounding companies or something like that, you can jump straight to that section right here. And then if you want to save something in the upper right-hand corner, you can download all of this data as a PDF. One really handy tool about Emergent Intellect is you can use it to build a list of companies that meet certain criteria. I will do that now by clicking on Advanced Search at the top of the page. And now we can start choosing our criteria. Our options here are company criteria, executive criteria. Within company criteria, we can sort by company, location, industry, size, financial information, or even by keywords. So I'm just going to click on location, and let's say I want to see companies that have the area code 386. That'll update at the bottom, so I see there's about 80,000 companies in the area code 386. And now we'll go up here to industry, and I'll click on NAICS code here under choose criteria. And this time I'll just choose another NAICS code at random. I can click on these little arrows to drill it down to something more specific. Let's go with Internet Publishing and Broadcasting. And so I'll click on Add to Criteria at the bottom here. And oh no, it looks like there's no companies in that industry in the area code 386. So I'm going to just choose something else. How about accommodation and food services? So we've got about 3,300 companies in the industry accommodation and food services that are also in the area code 386. And I can see a list of those by clicking search at the bottom. And now I can sort these however I want to, or I could go ahead and start clicking on the title to view the company profile. So this is a really great way to get a list of competitors if that's what you need to find. Okay, so that was Mergent Intellect. There was one more database I wanted to talk about today, and that one is Statista. Statista is really useful for finding statistical information on just about any topic. It doesn't have an advanced search, so I'm just going to stick with this basic search bar right here. And once again, I'll say nonprofit marketing. Let's see what kind of statistics they have on nonprofit marketing. We've got 43 results, and it looks like a really wide variety of stuff here. So we can look at charity and nonprofit organization social media usage from 2014, operational concerns for nonprofit organizations in the United States in 2012, lots of other things here. I'm just going to click on a random one so you can see the nice little chart that they give you. So it always makes a really visually appealing chart that you can download as a PDF or PowerPoint or whatever file you prefer. So that was Statista. So those were the 8 databases that I wanted to show you today. I really just gave you an introduction to each of them. Many of them have more advanced searches that you can do, and then also remember that this was just 8 out of 23 business-related databases that might be useful for you. So any questions that you have about using any of these or deciding which one is most appropriate for the type of information you're looking for, that's something you can always ask me or one of the other librarians. So the next thing on the agenda I wanted to show you was how to figure out if the library has a particular journal, newspaper, or magazine. So you can do that back on the library homepage. And this box in the middle of the page, you'll see there's a tab labeled Journals List. So let's say you want to find out what kind of access the library has to the New York Times. I'll type in New York Times right here and click on search. And it looks like it's the first result right here. And if you click on full text access, the blue link right below it, it'll give you a list of databases that have this, periodical. So if you wanted to see the New York Times, you could go into any of these. Just note that they each have different date coverage. So some of them here start in 1980, some start in 1985. All of these go to the present. I believe we also have some historical New York Times that's down here a little bit. So if you really wanted the New York Times and you needed an older article, you could scroll down here and you see that this database has it from 1851 to 2007. So this is something that works for any sort of scholarly journal, news source, or any type of periodical. Okay, so the last thing I had on the agenda today was I wanted to show you how to use RefWorks to create your works cited page. So we've added sources here from a number of different databases, and once you're ready to create your works cited, you can check the box next to the ones that you want to cite, or you could just say select all at the top of the page, and then click on this little quotation mark icon at the top of the page. If you'll hover over it, you'll see it says create bibliography, and that's the first option. Once you click on that, it will automatically generate your bibliography for you and the citation style that you've most recently used, which for me you can see it was AMA. But if you need to change that, you can search for styles using this search at the upper left-hand corner here. So there are tens of thousands of citation styles in RefWorks. Probably no matter whatever it is that you need to use, RefWorks can do it. I'm just going to say APA, and I guess the 6th edition is the most recent one. So I'll click on that, and it's automatically going to reformat my references to APA 6th edition style. And then I can just click on this button to copy it, and then I can easily paste it into my paper. One thing to keep in mind is that these citations are not always right. As you can see right here, like all of the authors' names are here in all caps. It looks like there's some information missing here in the third one. So it's always a good idea to double check that they're right before you turn it in for a grade or anything like that. But still, it might be a really handy tool that can save you some time. So those are all the resources I wanted to show you today. I just wanted to finish up by pointing you back one more time to the Ask a Librarian service here on the left-hand side of the library homepage. Once again, if you have any questions about research or anything about the library, myself and all the other librarians will be more than happy to help you whatever way that's best for you, whether that's over the phone, email, text, in person, over Skype, whatever works for you, we are happy to help you. Okay, that's all. So thank you for coming and have a great day.